Hi. Hello. How's it going? Um, my caseworkers and intake are saying that they've noticed that I have become more irritable or, uh, I don't know, I can't remember what word he used, but like, uh, as if I were less stable or something. And they blame it on the meds, which I take off and on. I'm pretty consistent. I take them about half the time, every other day, whatever. But the only real effect they have is the antidepressant kind of gives me a boost, you know. But other than that, I'm fairly consistent if I'm not just feeling tired, you know. But they're trying to say that I am getting worse somehow because I mean they've brought up things that I've done that I haven't even done. They said I called an intake worker stupid, but I wouldn't do that because I have a diagnosis and I'm always careful about what I say. You know, I wouldn't blatantly outright call someone stupid uh, in that situation, especially. I'll call my mom stupid because we don't get along at all. I mean, and she plays dumb, to warp my mind. But I'm not. I don't want to get into all that. I mean, I think I've established that it's happening, and also that nobody really cares. Uh, and people are saying I mean, my caseworkers are saying I'm getting worse, which is making it worse, considering they have. This all seems like it's been planned out. I feel like I've been isolated in the community. I have been. That's why I don't have any friends. Uh, they've never offered to let me come to the group therapy sessions with the other clients, which I have brought up. Uh, this whole situation seems so. It is so perfect, and as far as keeping me where I am and keeping me within their control. I know control sounds like some big paranoid, conspiracy theory or whatever, but it doesn't make it not true. It just means I can't prove it. That they're very clever. They're a lot smarter than I am. And otherwise, I wouldn't be trapped. And it's perfect. I mean, my caseworker says, this, this is making me paranoid, what he's saying, you know, because it has implications, you know. My previous CSP and I was with Journey Mental Health in Madison, Wisconsin, and everything was fine there. I never felt like they never, if they had me sign a paper that mentioned psychosurgery and electroconvulsive therapy, I wasn't aware of it, and they didn't make me sign it multiple times and make sure I knew about it in order to scare me into compliance, you know. But whether or not they will do it, psychosurgery, which is lobotomies and stuff, and electroconvulsive therapy, they called it, which is electroshock therapy. Whether or not they will do it, they are using it to scare the shit out of people, clients. Don't speak up. Don't rock the boat. That kind of fear. You know. But now they're spinning the narrative that I'm becoming more agitated and irritable, or maybe even paranoid. But you know what makes me paranoid? People saying that stuff. You know, especially when they made me sign several times. They've made me sign this. They've given me a yellow carbon copy. You know, if one of their judges deems it, uh, decides, rules that they want to cut a chunk of my brain out or shock my head, then they reserve the right to do that, as simply because I'm a client of, not because I signed up to be for their services. Not, I mean, it was optional, but I have to do it. I have to receive some form of services in order to get the only money I have, which is my Social Security disability. Okay, so they know I'm going to sign it, hoping that it's it is just a scare tactic, you know, and but I have to have services, and if the services are voluntary, then they shouldn't bring up psychosurgery or electroconvulsive therapy, because they're voluntary. You know, it's a tactic. And every time I bring up moving out of Jefferson County to my caseworker, he's like, "Oh, you're not here. You're not a mandatory client. You can leave." I'm like, "I know this. Okay, you stop saying it, implying that because he keeps bringing it up. It puts this idea in my head that, why do you keep telling me this? Is it because secretly you aren't planning on letting me leave, or what? Are you building a case against me?" I've always wondered if they're building a case against me because how they handle things, and the things they say, the things they allude to, and now their intake is bringing up some supposed recording. They no. Let me start somewhere else. They told me previously that they do not record our conversations with crisis, with intake. Yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, uh, the intake worker says, "Richard, I have a recording of you calling me stupid." When they stated that they don't record before, and stuff like that. I would love to hear that conversation if they've recorded it, because I would also like to hear the recording where they said they don't record people, you know, stuff like that. And they they've gone so far as to say that a policy that they have are enforcing currently, where if I call intake while, which is there to be called, right? If I call intake and see the secretary at CSP said this has always been a policy that if I call intake, intake will send me to her. What is intake for then? And why would that be a policy just for me? That's always been. And I said, I pointed that out. I said, this, no, no. They're, the more they do this, the more it proves that I'm not paranoid about a lot of things. Even when my own mother manipulates me and controls me, which is manipulation is the of paranoia, and she twists the truth with she twists reality and actual events with half truths and spins them in such a wonderful way. I don't understand how she can do it, and that wears on my mental state as well. And there, all of a sudden, my Max is acting like I am behaving worse than I always have, and I'm not. There are there have been like yesterday, a kid, a young adult, I assume, was with his mother, and I was sitting at St. Vincent's, the thrift store, and he walks in looking at me and laughing, and I said something, and he said and we started to converse, and he pulled out his camera when and maybe I appeared upset, but he pulled out his camera and start like the kids do these days whenever they gotta hide behind it. He pulls out his camera and takes a picture of me, and his mom's like, doesn't, seems to think it's okay, I guess. But I said, whatever, and I leave, and I go around. I was waiting out for the cab. I was waiting for the cab out front of St. Vincent's, and I said, you know what, I better move to the corner of the building. I don't want to be involved in any more conflict. And he drive, while I'm waiting, they drive by, and he does something that really, I mean, he's still trying to agitate me. He's doing shit in the window that as he drives by, and I'm just like, whatever. And I guess one of the people that were in there while I was waiting outside, and they were in there with them, they were talking about me while I was waiting for my cab. They were saying I was talking to myself. And in fact, I was making a phone call on these very headphones. But that goes to show that they were, what type of people they were, if they're going to talk about someone when they're not there, I guess. But the fact that I'm so isolated is going to wear on me after a while, wouldn't you say? I mean, just the fact that nobody associates with me. I mean, I feel ostracized in the community. It's like everybody's saying the same thing, you're not one of us, and which implies that they're all of the same mindset. Maybe they're using me as a common enemy to bring them together or something. I don't know, but I'm tired. I want out of this county, and if they start saying that I am getting worse, which is not true, I'm actually getting better. I'm not depressed all the time. I'm not in a lot of pain, emotional pain. I'm actually feeling better. I'm just getting tired of the things going on, you know, being isolated, my mom constantly trying to dominate me and keep me from moving out because I'm our only income source. And she dominates me and messes with my head and she keeps changing, keeps the whole environment unstable. So I don't know if I'm coming or going. Uh, and my caseworker saying that I seem worse, you know, when I'm taking my meds more than I normally ever do. And they're not making a huge difference. But he's saying that there's a clear difference. And he said he that I said in whatever context that when I'm taking whatever meds he was referring to, that it seems to bounce my mom's shenanigans seem to bounce off me. But I'm pretty sure I was talking about the diazepam that I was prescribed temporarily, and he was referring to my main meds as though that was what I was talking about. I should clarify that with him just to be clear, because I feel like I'm screwed, man. There's nothing I can do. I feel like there's nothing I can do. They're dead set on pushing a narrative against me, and because they couldn't build a case like against me, so now they're going to create one. Is what it seems like, in order to better uh, uh, move me in the direction they want me to go. You know, and everything. Looking back, everything seems like it's leading up to whatever they got planned. Even before, my whole life seems planned out. Seems like something else has always been there interfering. It's not like I can just live a life for nothing. Uh, I didn't notice it. I didn't notice these things going on really until I got out of high school and had to join the real world and everything that goes on in society. I never noticed these things. But even looking back at my childhood, I noticed a few things that influenced me uh, also. But joining the real world, as they call it, and the rat race, competition, group, society, ruling class warfare. Uh, Apparently, my caseworkers don't. They seem to think I'm immune to it, when really my diagnosis facilitates far more than what other people are subjected to. Because I have a diagnosis and can be dismissed as crazy. It's a tool. It's a tool. But I'm going to go because somebody's out there and they might start talking pretty soon, and I don't want to be embarrassed by that person. All right. Thank you. Bye bye.